manufacturing in the cloud. And this is a webinar I am especially excited about because this is an industry that has taken big advantage of Google Apps for Business. It's a well-known fact that manufacturing companies are always looking for ways to cut costs, implement new innovations, and then more productive output. And Google Apps for Business has been a solution for many manufacturing companies for those reasons and many other reasons, which we're going to explore today. My name is Damon Tackett, and I'm with Dido, and we are a Google partner company. And we are one of the first partner companies in the beginning when the program was being created. I'm not sure on the exact number, but we've been in the business for a while. We've got a great relationship with Google, and we really love Google Apps for Business. And we are your Google Apps experts. So this manufacturing webinar is going to be all about the benefits of Google Apps for Business and how Dido can help you guys make the change if you guys are looking to do that here in the near future. All right, first thing, let's look at what are Google Apps for Business. And Google Apps is a cloud-based productivity suite that helps you and your team connect and get work done from anywhere on any device. It's simple to set up, use, and manage, and allowing you to work smarter and focus on what really matters. It's your mail, calendar, and document collaboration platform combined with lightning-fast communication features. And for companies looking to work in the future today, it's everything they've dreamed of and so much more. In total, Google Apps has about 74 services, but here are some of the core apps the manufacturing industry has gotten a lot of use out of. Gmail, communicate the way you want with email, chat, and video calls. And Gmail truly is superior communication. Google Drive, collaborate on documents, spreadsheets, and presentations in real time. Stay organized with Calendar. You can organize your team meetings and other events with expert precision. Google Hangouts, you can video conference with team members face-to-face with Google Hangout, up to 15 people at a time. And Google Sites, you can create intercompany websites to link your teams globally. And we're going to take a look at all of these apps and how the manufacturing industry is benefiting from them. And then we're going to do a live demo throughout the demonstration of some of these apps in progress. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the bigger manufacturing companies that are working in the future today. Jaguar Land Rover switched 15,000 of its users to Google Apps in 2009. Motorola switched 20,000 of its users in 2009 also. Shaw Industries, they have 10,000 users on Google Apps. And Senram, one of the biggest names in distributed video games, movies, and music, switched 3,000 of its employees over to Google Apps in 2011. These are just some of the great manufacturing companies getting great benefit out of Google Apps for Business. And in doing some research for all this and reading all the case studies, I came across this quote, which was one of my favorite, and it's from the CIO of Motorola Mobility. And he says, "I don't know why you wouldn't move to Google Apps. It gives you the ability to reduce costs significantly, improve productivity dramatically, and make your business more competitive. And there really is no downside." And honestly, I couldn't have said it better. That was one of my favorite quotes, so I threw that one in there. And basically, that sums up how a lot of manufacturing companies are feeling about Google Apps for Business these days. Okay, another big reason that the manufacturing industry loves Google Apps for Business is you can reduce your environmental impact and use less energy. With Google Apps, you can simultaneously reduce your operating costs and your environmental impact. All the products in Google's cloud are green, and that helps you reach your sustainability goals. Diversey Inc. is a leading global provider of commercial cleaning, sanitation, and hygiene solutions. It's a Fortune 1000 company. It's based in Wisconsin, and they have 10,200 employees in more than 75 locations. So as you can imagine, this is a company that's generating a lot of energy output. Their electricity costs alone must have been astronomical. But switching over to Google Apps helped them a lot, and here's a quote that they have: "Google Apps surpassed our expectations by allowing IT to eliminate 10 servers and its archives from the data center, thereby reducing our carbon footprint by 73 metric tons of carbon dioxide per year." That was the case for this company, but a lot of manufacturing companies are reporting the same results. They're saving money with Google Apps. They're moving away from on-premise IT and moving everything into the cloud. And as a result, it's helping them reach their energy goals. A significant portion of Google's data center energy comes from renewables. Their data centers are 50% more energy efficient than the industry's best practices. and Google's products are 100% green. So great way for you to reduce energy costs in the manufacturing industry, move away from on-premise IT, move everything to the cloud, and I highly encourage you to read up on this success stories and other success stories on Google's official enterprise blog. And you can check out some of the case studies of the manufacturing companies in the industry that are getting great results from Google Apps. All right, in doing all of our research, we looked a lot into the manufacturing industry. We explored problems that the manufacturing industry was encountering, and a predominant theme that we kept encountering was that there's a big gap of skilled laborers these days in the industry. In doing the research, I came across another great quote which addresses this issue, and this is from Next Tier Automotive, and they specialize in the production of steering and driveline systems for automobiles. It's a very high-tech industry. It takes really skilled engineers to perfect, and Next Tier has found that by using Google Apps for Business, they've been able to attract skilled, energetic engineers. So by using the tools of the trade that most of the high-tech society is moving over to these days, has allowed them to attract people by having that same equipment in line at their company. So a lot of companies looking to fill that gap right there are having good luck with Google Apps for Business, because it's just the future of business, and a lot of younger, skilled, energetic, tech-savvy people are using Google Apps for Business. All right, here's a look at some big companies cutting big costs using Google Apps. Jaguar Land Rover transitioned their entire organization over to Gmail, Calendar, and Contacts in one weekend. Their immediate savings were $1.75 million US. Genentech, over 5 years, Google Apps for Business saved them millions of dollars over all the other options they explored prior to making the switch. Avago Technologies, after switching over to Google Apps, Avago quickly realized they were now spending 1/6 of what they previously had using Microsoft Exchange. A predominant theme in reading these case studies and doing the research is that manufacturing companies are saving a lot of money using Google Apps. And if you're in the manufacturing industry, you know it gets harder and harder to find ways to cut costs and save money. This is a big way that some big companies have been saving big money by switching over to Google Apps. All right, increase productivity, reduce operating costs, promote collaboration. Here's a look at some companies that did just that. Motorola, Gmail's threading capabilities resulted in 47% less emails from Motorola and 510,000 fewer lines of email per day, which converted to 1 million work hours saved, or $50 million. Diversey, reduce operating costs. Google Apps for Business has significantly reduced operating costs at Diversey, which the company calculates at $350,000 annually. The company is also reporting a 5% increase in end-user productivity thanks to apps. And Brady has extended collaboration services to their entire workforce, located anywhere in the world and from any device at a lower overall cost. With apps, new users are added at 1/4 of the cost of their previous model. And another predominant theme that I found in checking out all these case studies was that a lot of these companies looked into alternative solutions. They looked into what their options were as far as their email, their calendars, their docs, their enterprise solutions. And a lot of them landed on Google Apps for Business because it's just a smarter decision. It can save you a ton of money. It's got a total lower cost of ownership, a lot of investment return, and companies are just getting a lot out of it. And again, please check out these success stories and others at Google's Enterprise blog spot, which you can see the link for at the bottom of this slide. All right, let's take a look at our first tool here. Gmail is superior communication fast. And what are other manufacturing companies saying about Gmail? Jay McLean is the CIO for Next Tier Automotive, and they currently have 4,200 users on apps, as I mentioned. And he says with Google Apps, we're able to get things done faster. Instead of scheduling meetings or emailing back and forth, we're able to use Google Talk, which you can see right here on this slide to the right. They can talk across time zones and quickly get answers from coworkers. The search functionality, which you're seeing here in Gmail, helps them find what they're looking for faster, and the increased inbox size lets them store information and knowing they'll be able to find it whenever they need it. And that's very true. With 25 gigabytes of storage, you're never running out of space. So you're not getting any more of those annoying emails telling you your inbox is over its size limit. You're not having to delete old emails or sent emails. Basically, 25 gigabytes of storage is tons of space. And if you need to find something, you can just type it up here in search and locate stuff in seconds using search words. And we're going to demonstrate all that for you here in a minute. The next tool we're going to take a look at is Google Calendar. And a lot of manufacturing companies are finding great benefit by using Google Calendar. Increased efficiency, number one. Cinram is a company that has found great use out of Google Calendar. And Cinram is one of the biggest names in distributed video games, music, and movies. And they switched 3,000 of their employees over to apps in 2011. And Cinram credits Calendar for increasing employee productivity. Scheduling their meetings, for example, have become infinitely easier as they enjoy being able to quickly access other employees' calendars to facilitate scheduling. Again, another great case study from the Blogspot, the Enterprise blog. Check that out. It's a great story. But basically, Google Calendar is allowing manufacturing companies to work smarter, work faster. They're cutting a lot of corners by being able to check out other employees' calendars. They have access to plant shipping and receiving schedules, and just a lot of information in Calendar that can definitely help increase productivity, get things done faster, and we're going to demo Calendar for you here in a minute also. All right, another really big tool that the manufacturing industry loves, and we love here at Dido as well, is Google Hangout. And Google Hangout allows your teams to connect face-to-face with up to 15 people right from within your Gmail inbox. So what you're seeing here is superior video conferencing. This is one of our Dido team meetings, and as you can see, we've got about 15 people in this meeting, and you can see everyone, hear everyone with great clarity and expert quality. And basically, it's the only way we know how to work because we're distributed all across the U.S., and for manufacturing companies, they've got facilities in other parts of the U.S. and sometimes in other countries, and they need to be able to have face-to-face meetings with people, and this eliminates a lot of traveling. It basically is just a much smarter way to work, and some manufacturing companies, their employees love Google Hangouts so much, and it's so in demand that their meetings are reaching their size limits. So like a lot of people are moving to Hangouts instead of driving, instead of flying, and it's just a great way to do business. And Jim Nielsen, manager of enterprise technology for Shaw Floors, he says, we started holding our staff meetings via Hangout. Even though the team is only 20 minutes apart, Hangouts have allowed us to be more focused, turning the hour-long meeting to 30 minutes. And it's very true. Anytime we do our meetings, we're to the point, we get everything done, and we just love doing everything via video conference, and a lot of manufacturing companies are experiencing the same great results. All right, so that's going to lead us into our demo, I believe. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you some of the tools that the manufacturing industry is using on a daily basis. We're going to start with Gmail. So we'll go over here. This is a look at what my Gmail inbox looks like, and I've got multiple ways I can view this. I can do a vertical split, I can do a horizontal split, or I can just view it normally. Over here to the right, you'll see my communication area where I can chat with people. I can call people like I'm on a phone call from my computer, and I can call somebody at their computer. So basically, we'll be talking like we're on a phone, but we're basically talking computer to computer. And here's your Hangout, where you'll click this to start video meetings, and we'll get to all this in 1 second. Let me go ahead and show you some of the cool key features of Gmail that the manufacturing industry loves. One thing that they love is Translate, because a lot of manufacturing companies are either have plants in other countries, or they have employees that speak different languages, or they even have customers that speak different languages, and they want to be able to read what they're the message that's being sent to them right away. So this came through about a week or two ago, and it was all Spanish, and I thought it was really cool because I'd never noticed this immediately, but you've got this option here to translate message. So as you can see here, everything's in Spanish, but I click that, and then it translates everything to English for you in a second. So that's a great resource for companies dealing with employees or customers overseas or speaking different languages. Another thing the manufacturing industry loves about Gmail is the ability to check out photos right from within their inbox without them having to open attachments. So this is how you'll view a photo in your Gmail inbox if somebody sends it to you. You can view it all from right within here, and you don't have to open an attachment, go to another page, or anything like that. It's all viewable right from within your Gmail inbox. Oops. And another cool thing that the manufacturing industry loves is the ability to check out videos in their inbox. And I've got to just check one down real quick. I know where it's at. And this is good because maybe manufacturing companies are looking to share training materials or something like that via video. And this is just a quick example, but you can watch these videos right from within your inbox, just like I'm doing here. And really, you've got the ability to view all types of file types within Drive and your Gmail because they're all supported with Google Apps for Business. All right, now let's take a look at our chat window over here. This is where I do all my powerful communicating, and as you heard before, some of the manufacturing companies were mentioning a need to communicate globally across time zones. They don't have time to wait for emails, etc. So this is an example of how they might communicate using chat. And what I do here is I just chat Megan a message, and then you can see here on the other side, she will start typing, and it'll say Megan is typing, so you know that she's got your message, and she'll send you a response. And there you have it. So that's how a lot of manufacturing companies are communicating back and forth via chat. They've also got the option here to click and do a voice call, and they can add people to this chat here. And something else that's really cool is that you can send text messages straight to their phones. So I can type a message here and then press send, and it'll go straight to their cell phones, and it'll be received as a text message. And the communication features are one of the best things that manufacturing companies love the most about Google Apps because it just helps you, connect with your teams a lot better, a lot faster. So I think we covered most of this stuff. Oh, one more thing I can show you is filters and labels. And as you can see here, I've got labels set up so I can identify who's in certain conversations. For this one, for example, the CEO is involved in this conversation. I've also got one for prospects. You might have one for suppliers, employees, sales team, anything like that. It basically just helps you filter out messages, and it helps you organize your important information, and a great way to see who's a part of what conversation, etc. So that's a great look at a lot of the Gmail features. Another great thing that the manufacturing industry is using is Calendar. And here's a look at my Google Calendar and how I might have it set up. With Calendar, you've got the option to view multiple ways: day, week, month, 4 days, agenda. Agenda might be useful because it lists all the details of what you've got going on. So if you've got production lines or deliveries, receiving, if you've got all that set up, you can have all the details here viewable and all the information you need. Let's go into week. Another cool thing that you can do in calendars here is you can do multiple calendars, and this will give you a way of seeing specific schedules for specific things. Like, let's say, for example, I need to see what the receiving schedule is like in Dallas. I would click that, and I would immediately know that the first wave of receiving is from 9 to 11 in the morning, and the second wave is from 3 to 5. Okay, well, that's great. Well, what about shipping? I hope that doesn't interfere with anything. You can click on shipping and then see that the first wave of shipping goes out at 6 a.m. and then the second goes out at noon. Okay, that's great for Dallas. I wonder what's going on in New York. So we can see what time New York is receiving. And then we would click on that, and now we know in Central Time it would be 8 to 10 out there. And then if we need to know their shipping, we could add that. And it's just a great way to see what the schedule is for every single detail of everything you've got going on. And I'm sure right now your minds are racing of how you could use this for your own manufacturing business. And that's the beauty of it. You basically just take a look at all the tools that Google has given you, and then you just customize them to fit your needs. So this is an example of how you might do something like that. Another great thing is what we'll take a look at is scheduling events or meetings with team members. If you need to check out other coworkers' calendars, what you could do is let's take a look at my regular one. Whoops. And then we could go down here and we could add if I needed to schedule a meeting with Megan, I could add her calendar and then it pops up. Steve, I could add his calendar and then his schedule pops up. And this is just a really great way for teams to find times together. So you can add coworkers' calendars, all types of deal. Another thing you could also do, and we're going to get to Google Sites here in a bit, but if you had another calendar that you wanted to make public, like as far as or, you know, an intercompany website, and you wanted all the employees to be able to see the shipping schedules and such, you can make these calendars public, and then you could publish them to an intercompany website, and then that way that information and that calendar and that schedule and those times are always accessible and viewable by the people that have access to that intercompany website. So a lot of really great things you can do with calendar. Over here I've got a world clock set up, which I use because I'm dealing with people in multiple time zones, and this will let me know what time it is out there when I'm scheduling meetings and stuff like that. We've got a task list where you can put your tasks down and check stuff off as you go throughout your day and you get stuff done. Another great thing is maps and calendars, and this is really beneficial to the manufacturing industry. Let's say you've got drivers out doing deliveries, you know, taking stuff to different plants. You can just include an address in the calendar event, and then Google will automatically generate a map for you. And you can just click here and then see, you know, where that delivery is taking place. And then you've got address, sometimes you've got photos, all types of great resources to make your life that much easier. And that's basically what Google Apps for Business is. It makes your life so much easier. Great scheduling abilities, great calendar, great communication, all types of great things that are just making life a lot easier. So it looks like we took a look at all that stuff. The next thing we can do is we could create a calendar event, and let's do one for manufacturing training. And then what we could do here is if I needed to add an address for a physical meet, I could do that, and then again Google would generate the map. Or I could just add Google Hangout, and then when the time comes for the meeting, everybody can join the video conference room right from the calendar event just by clicking on it, which is very convenient. So basically it takes you right to the meeting. And over here is where you would add employees' names. You could add you know, a couple, or if you wanted to do it for production line or, you know, floor sales or something like that, you could have groups set up and then invite that entire group at once. But this is just an example of how I might add a couple of people. And then once you've done that, you would, you know, if I needed to add an attachment, I can do that. Like if we needed a spreadsheet included that everybody could view prior to the meeting or during the meeting, you could add that in here. All types of great things. So what I would do is I would click Save, and then it would give me the option to send invitations to the guests, and then I would send those out like that. And then right now everybody would be getting the invites, and then as they accepted, they would be showing as an RSVP within the invitation as checked off. So the next thing we're going to take a look at is the Google Hangouts, but something to do on the way to the Google Hangout that I found that was really cool, that the manufacturing industry could get a lot of use out of, is the storage of videos, and this can be great for training. And what you can do is you get your own YouTube channel, and let's say I wanted to take a look at manufacturing training, and then I wanted to host a meeting, training meeting via Hangout. I could access this stored folder with all these specific training videos, click on Hangout, and then it'll automatically pull the training videos into the Hangout with me at the meeting. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add some people. Jonas. And we'll go down here and just call this training. Another cool thing that if you might want to take advantage of our Hangouts on Air, if you wanted to do live broadcasts. That's something I suggest you guys look into more when you get some time. But here's how we would do this. And we'll click on Hangout. And then as all those people are invited, they'll, whoops. Oh, got some feedback. And that's how that would look. And then we could start the training with the videos right here. Boom, the mystery of manufacturing. And there's Jonas in San Francisco. There's Megan in Colorado. There's Steve in Virginia. Everybody give me a wave real quick. Now, something to keep in mind is that since we are doing a GoToWebinar, the video quality might not be showing that well on your end. So I highly recommend everybody to try this out for themselves if they get some time, because the video quality and sound quality is excellent. And it really doesn't do justice to the GoToWebinar. But this is an example of how we might do a training meeting. And as you can see here, I've brought all the training videos in. We've got the availability of Google Drive here, where we could add documents. And I could add everything manufacturing to this, and that way everybody could have access to that. We also have the option to do screen share, and then we've got a chat option here if we want to share information about links or something like that. We could put that in the chat, and then that would take you to the link right there. So, guys, thanks a lot for helping me out with this. I'm going to move over to collaboration in Google Drive. Thanks, guys. And that's how a Google Hangout goes down. So that'll take us back to the presentation. That was a quick look at Gmail, Calendar, and Hangout, all really, really great tools for the manufacturing industry. These are the tools that are coming up over and over again in all the case studies on Google Enterprise blog. Again, check those out when you get some time so you can read for yourself. After the meeting, maybe the teams had to go to work. So what we would do then is we would go to our next tool, which is Google Drive. And Google Drive, it promotes collaboration with Google Drive. And it's one of the greatest resources manufacturing companies have when it comes to Google Apps. With Drive, you can create and collaborate, and you can create new documents, spreadsheets, presentations instantly. Work together at the same time on the same document and see changes as they appear, which is really amazing. Share the way you want. You can share files or folders with anyone and choose whether they can view, edit, or comment on your stuff. And then you can Google Drive with your favorite apps. Create, open, and share files from a variety of apps directly in Google Drive. And with Drive, you have the ability to open, I believe it's over 30 different file types right from within your browser. And even if your computer doesn't have the software set up to run on it, it can run within your browser because Google's got you all taken care of. And manufacturing companies love Google Drive because it enables better collaboration in their organizations. And collaboration enables the sharing of problems, information, and solutions with team members dispersed across departments, facilities, and time zones. And for most, Google Drive has been the answers to all their collaboration needs. And we're going to dive into a demonstration here in 1 minute. Before we get there, let's take another look at a Drive angle here. This is an example of how a manufacturing company employee might insert a photograph into a document. And you can insert them for your Drive or your computer just by dragging from the file location over to the document, which we'll show you here in a minute. But back to Shaw Floors, these guys love Google Apps. They keep coming up over and over in this demo alone. But for Shaw Industries, their organization was growing and they needed more collaboration capabilities to keep up with the global market. And the company was using Microsoft Office but felt it did not meet their collaboration goals, their needs of a global manufacturer. So they switched 25,000 users to Google Apps. Excuse me. And another quote from Jim there is at Shaw Floors is, "I've watched the organization grow, but our collaboration capabilities began to lag behind the needs of global manufacturing. With Google Drive and Google Docs, we could work all across time zones and different facilities and always got the job done." Another great quote from a great case study at the Google Enterprise blog. All right, a big part of Google Drive is Google Spreadsheets, and especially for the manufacturing industry. And this is where I found a lot of great stories great success stories of companies, manufacturing companies, using spreadsheets to help them save money. Pratt Industries, they are Pratt Industries found ways to collaborate in spreadsheets, which not only saved them thousands of dollars in travel and man hours, it actually increased the accuracy of their data. And this collaboration is speeding projects and helping them track cost and delivery benchmarks. The case study on this for Pratt Industries at the Google Enterprise blog is a great story, and they saved a ton of money using spreadsheets. I guess they had an employee that was flying to different facilities, recording data there, and instead of doing that, they used spreadsheets, and then they had facilities start, putting that data in there themselves, and it not only saved them travel expenses, their data was actually more accurate. And that's all explained in the case study, which I highly recommend you guys checking out. So let's go ahead and do a quick demo of Drive real quick before we move on to what Sites looks like. And this is an example of a spreadsheet that I just created in a couple of minutes. You have to imagine the ways that you could use the spreadsheet for your manufacturing company. But I just put this together to show you how we collaborate. And from here, this is my document. I can go in here, I can click Share, and then I can click on Megan's name. Let's say that she's one plant leader, and then she's the plant leader in Colorado. And then let's get with Steve, who is in charge of the facility in Virginia. And then we'll get with Jonas, who's in charge of the facility in San Francisco. And from here, you can share and save, and they're going to be notified via email that they've been shared with this document. And then up here is where you'll see all your guests arrive. And they'll start showing up one at a time. And once they're in the document, they can all go to their areas. And as you can see here, we've got Steve Renzi is already here, and he has found his area in Virginia. It looks like Jonas is here. He's down here in San Francisco, so he's going to start filling out data down here. And then it looks like Megan's in here also. She's on the Colorado section. So we've got 4 people working on this document right now. And they're all filling in their data from all their locations. This is happening from all over the world. This is one version. This is not them filling out their spreadsheet, emailing it to you, you filling out their data in your spreadsheet. It's not a bunch of back and forth emails. It's all happening right here. This is one file version. And if something happens and I need to go back to a previous file version, all I have to do is go back to a date and time that I know that it was the way I wanted it to be. And just a lot of really great tools here available for you to use, collaborate, and keep up with your data. So that's an example how Google Spreadsheets works. Another thing we could do is in Drive, it's got a lot of ways for you to store stuff. And here's an example of how photos might be stored in Drive. Maybe blueprints, maps of other factories, areas where your product is selling the most. I mean, all types of stuff. And it's the greatest way to stay organized. And anytime I want to share any of this information with anybody, all I have to do is click on it, share, and then that person can come in, they can collaborate, they can edit, they can view. You can set permissions to make sure that they can view but not edit, make sure that they can view and only comment. So many great things. So the manufacturing industry loves Google Drive for all these great reasons. And I'll show you real quick how I might just create, let's say, a marketing document. You would just create and then come up here, and let's say I wanted to insert a photo, go into image, and then I could go into Google Drive. Let's go into manufacturing. Let's go into photos. And let's say we're doing, territories or something like that. What I would do is I would click insert. Where did it go? There it is. And there's your photo. And then from there you could move it, resize it, all types of things. You can insert spreadsheets, pie charts, all types of graphs. Again, if I wanted to share this with anybody, I would just click on share, and then those people would be allowed to access the document, edit it, etc. If I wanted to download this as a PDF file, a Word document, rich text, all types of options here for downloading it, publishing it to the web, all types of great things you can do in here. And Google Drive is the answer for a lot of manufacturing companies, just because they've got people in China, they've got people in the US, they've got people all over the world, and those people need to access one document, not multiple versions of a single document. They need to access one document. They need to add or make changes. They need to comment. And it's just an easier way to stay organized and just basically reduce all the back and forth. And it's a great tool for the manufacturing industry. So the next thing we are going to take a look at is Google Sites. Google Sites is a great tool for the manufacturing industry because it's allowing their teams to connect globally. And what they're doing with Google Sites is they're building intercompany websites. For example, here's something that's built. It might be an intercompany learning center where manufacturing employees go and access documents for training. It might be an employee website where they go and request time off, or where they access their medical benefits, or all types of possibilities. And Google Sites comes as a part of your Google Apps for Business suite. Your Google Apps license gets you access to Google Sites, and Google Sites are built so simply. It's not like you have to hire a web developer to write hundreds of hours of code or anything like that. It's simply like building a document. You can build a perfectly functioning intercompany website, or you can build a website for external purposes so the public can view it and access it. And you can do all this as easily as building a document. And I'll give you a brief look into that right here. Let's say I'm in my Gmail and I want to go into Sites. So from here, this is where intercompany websites would be, held and accessible. But if I wanted to create one, I could just, go into Create and let's browse the gallery. And we're creating something for an intercompany business website. So here's a great example of an intranet site template. And basically, you just take this template and then you just take out all the info that they've got in there, and then you just add in your own. And there can be multiple pages. There can be embedded forms that your employees can go in and fill out surveys. Your customers can fill out surveys. And then from those forms, all the information is collected in Google Spreadsheets, which you can access in Google Drive. And all of this you can access from any web-enabled device. So somebody on a factory floor could access the company intranet site from their mobile phone. There's just so many great benefits of Google Apps for Business in the manufacturing industry. An hour is not enough to express all of them, which is why I keep coming back to the point that you need to go to Google's Blogspot and check out some of the success stories. Because if you're a manufacturing company looking to cut costs, looking to innovate, you're looking in the right place so far, and that's Google Apps for Business. So that's a quick look at how sites would work. All right, let's get back to see what we're taking a look at next. Some other great resources for the manufacturing industry as far as Google is involved. There is Google Chromebooks, and we here at Dido are your Chromebooks expert also. And Chromebooks allow you to work smarter and not harder, and they're the simple solution to fast, intuitive, and easy to manage computing at a dramatically lower price tag. You can empower employees to work from anywhere at any time, promote real-time communication and collaboration, and they're easily managed through a simple management console. So if you wanted to, stock up on a fleet of Chromebooks for people that you have out in the field, you could purchase those Chromebooks, distribute them to employees, and then let's say that employee gets promoted or goes to another company and they give the Chromebook back. It can be wiped in seconds and distributed to another employee almost immediately because they're that easy to manage. And plus, since they're 100% web and they run on the Chrome OS system, a year from now, after you bought the Chromebook, it would actually be newer and better than when you bought it a year prior because they're constantly being updated. And since they're 100% web and you're not downloading a bunch of junk files, a bunch of stuff you don't need, the computer's not slowing down. It's actually the opposite of the traditional laptop we've grown up with. The laptops in the past you buy, and then a year from now they're slower, they're junked up, they're just less productive than when you bought it. And this is the total opposite. Google keeps moving forward. They keep making their products better. It's not only with Chromebooks, they're constantly updating Google Apps and everything, just making it better all the time. And they're doing it on their own. They're not sending you emails saying, hey, patch this for me, or hey, fix our problem that we messed up. We need you to take time out of your day and fix it. It's not like that. Google does it all behind the scenes. They do it all on their own, and most of the time it's just a matter of clicking refresh and having the latest version of Google's technology. And the same concept is applied to Chromebooks. Chromebooks are also great for employees that are in need of a lot of video conferencing. With my Chromebook, as long as I'm connected to the internet, if I'm sitting at an airport waiting for a flight, I can still do a video conference with everybody on my team from my Chromebook because it's a great platform from doing the video conferencing. So many great things come from these Chromebooks. They're really inexpensive to own. They're easy to operate. And I highly encourage everybody to take a look into this more on your own time. All right, if you are pretty serious about switching over to Google Apps, guess what? Dido is your contact because we here at Dido can hook you up with Test Drive. It's something that's exclusive to Dido, and basically what it is we create a virtual simulated environment and set up to specific success criteria that you guys outline are important to you and your company, and then basically you can use Google Apps in Test Drive and see how your day-to-day would work by using Google's technology. You can use Calendar, Mail, Drive, all that stuff. And all you need to do is contact us here at Dido, and we can set your company up on Test Drive, And then after that, it's pretty much a done deal because all the manufacturing companies that have approached us about Google's technology and have started on test drive have become Google Apps customers almost overnight because they love it that much. It's the answer to all their prayers, and it's basically helping companies, manufacturing companies especially, move beyond 2013. It's getting harder to do business. It's getting more expensive to do business. And Google has made it cheaper to do business with their technology, and they've made it easier with their technology. And a lot of manufacturing companies love it for that reason alone. So test drive Dido today. Give us a call, shoot us an email, and we'll get you set up. And you guys will love everything you see, I promise. A little bit about us here at Dido. We are your Google Apps expert and implementation partners. We are experts for Google Apps in the manufacturing industry, a lot of industries, but manufacturing specifically is one. We were founded in May 2007, and we're Google Apps premier partner and Chrome device reseller. We provide Google Apps evaluation, deployment, integration, change management, development, and support services. We're your migration experts. Microsoft Exchange, Lotus Notes, Novell GroupWise, and Webmail. We are your #1 ranked Google trainers. So if you have a large company that wants to switch over to apps, we are the #1 go-tos for training your employees and making a smooth transition. We've taken some really, really big companies that were moving away from some really outdated, expensive email systems and moved them over to apps with relative ease and fairly quickly just because of our expert training knowledge. Our trainers have done it a million times, and we have a formula in place that can just make all this a lot easier on you. Workflow and development specialists also. We've got some great specialists on Dido's staff that can develop workflow and development projects for you, intercompany websites, anything you need developed as far as a Google Apps script goes, we can handle it there. And we're your authority on mobile and distributed teams. We've dealt with it so much. We've dealt with so many companies that have teams spread out, throughout the world that have a huge need for mobile access and, keeping their distributed teams informed, that we're the experts on it. And of course, we're experts #1 because that's how we operate. We're a 30-plus person company operating from all over the world, and everything we do is through Google Apps, and it seems like we're in an office every day. I can't express how real it feels to use this technology and not actually be in an office building in face-to-face, because it really feels that way. All right, and that brings us to the end here. Thanks for attending. We're going to take some questions here in a minute, and if you've got questions, go ahead and put them in the chat window. I guess I should have mentioned that at the beginning. But if you do have questions, go ahead and put those in the chat window now at the GoToMeeting area, and we'll jump into those one at a time. And if we're also going to send you an email here in the next couple of hours that's going to have a bunch of links to videos that are showing manufacturing companies using Google Apps today, and some other links that are useful that might help you make the decision to make the switch. And once you've made that decision, you can give us a call or shoot me an email direct, damon@didoweb.com, and we'll get you guys all set up from there. So special thanks to everybody that attended today. Let's go ahead and jump into some of these questions. And I believe I've got another expert on the phone with me, Steve Renzi. Are you around?
I am. Can you hear me clear?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for joining us today, Steve.
No problem. Thanks, Damon.
All right, let's take a look at some of these chat questions that we have here. You want to go ahead and just grab the first one, Steve?
Yes. I see, what if we only want to use Drive and Sites within our organization? Do we have to use mail? Pretty simple question. No, you do not have to use mail. If you're comfortable with the mail that you have, you can. Gmail is being used currently today by 500 million users, both on a consumer level and a business level. So a lot of people are familiar with Gmail. For it to be brought to a corporate end on a business use, I think it's the adoption rate is it's pretty simple to adopt too, because we're already using it in our personal lives. But you do not need to use mail. You can pick whatever apps are in that platform. If you only think that documents and sites are worth paying the same $50 per user per year, then you can use all or pieces of that platform. Hopefully that answers the question.
Excellent. All right. Let's see what else we got here. We got another question on there, Steve, that you want to address?
Yeah, let me see here. How long does a typical deployment take?
Great question.
Sure. You know what? That really comes down to the size of the organization. Something small, like I would say 1 to 50 users, that's typically done in one phase, and we can do that over a weekend. It might take a full week, just to kind of have that change management and really adopt to everything. But the deployment itself, turning it over, going from one and signing in the next day on another, usually takes about a weekend. The large organizations will say, 100 to 500. Those usually are a 2-phase deployment. So we would like to bring out the early adopters in your core IT and get them transitioned so that we're, working out all the kinks and the bugs, and making sure everybody is adopting well, and then bringing out the rest of the workforce. So again, it's kind of an open-ended answer, but it really depends on the size of the organization. It could take as quickly as one weekend, and as long as, we'll say, 2 to 3 months, depending on how you want to space it out and how big it is.
Excellent. Okay, it looks like we've got another chat question that just came through here, Steve. Do customers see a lot more bandwidth use since email attachments are stored in the cloud instead of on the local machine?
All right. That's actually a really good question. So I would look at that in 2 areas. The first would be the bandwidth that your office is using just to get to the web. There's not going to be much change there in the amount of people that are in your office using, getting to the web all at once. So because you never changed that. But by moving to the Google network, you're using the Google network as your mobility around the web. So when you're emailing, you're not attaching documents as much anymore. You're sharing documents. So you're opening up your web surfing and your web experience a little better because I should say much better, because you're using a much bigger Google network. But you're not actually changing the, we'll say, what you're using to get to the cloud. If you're on a DSL using dial-up, it's still going to be quite slow, right? Hopefully that makes sense. You're not changing that, but it will definitely open up your experience when you're on the web, using the web as your, because everything's browser-based. So everything, your mail, your sites, your documents, that experience is going to be a lot more fluid.
Excellent. Thanks. That's a great answer, Steve. And it looks like I was correct in that we had a ton of people attending today because we've got a lot of questions coming through. And what I'm going to do is right now is I'm going to make a promise to everybody who's asking questions that those questions will be responded to via email, if not on this chat. So don't get frustrated if we don't get to your question today. Right now, somebody will email you here in the next hour or two to address you with an answer. But we're going to try and I'm going to try and pick out one more since we're running short on time. Here's one. What kind of internet connection is needed for about 150 users?
Well, that, again, if you're in an area where Verizon Fios is available, obviously that's been a great piece. I believe I use Fios where I'm at, but not everybody in the country or where you're at. It really depends on location. If you're using dial-up and DSL, I mean, you know your experience now. How is it going to Google and searching? Once you're in Google, you log into your account and you can do everything as fast as you are currently when you're web surfing. I would say for 150 users, you're going to have a good experience with probably a T1. Maybe that answers it. If not, maybe shoot us an email or we'll shoot you an email and see if that's good enough. Again, it depends on location and what you're currently trying to use.
Yeah, and that's kind of a tough question, and that definitely comes down to your internet service provider as well. That's something that we will try to look into a little bit more, and if there's a better answer, we'll email the person who asked that question on that later. One final one, which is I'm going to include, even though we're running out of time. The reason I'm going to include it is because it's very easy to answer. Does Google Apps have an offline option in case internet connections are down? And the answer is yes. Google has offline options available for docs, for email, and basically if you were editing a document offline and for an hour or two, and then you went online, as soon as you went online, those changes would immediately be saved, and the old document version will be converted. If other people are working on that while you're offline and you need to go back, of course, you've got revision history. But yes, Google has some great options for offline availability, and a testament to Google constantly updating everything that they have and making it better is every once in a while you'll get an email about a new improvement. And I think recently there was one type of document that wasn't available online. Maybe it was forms or something. But anyways, they made it available for editing offline within like a couple of days. So yes, you have the option for offline editing capabilities if the internet is down. So again, great questions. We got a lot of questions, and I promise all of you that once this webinar is over, we're going to get to work on emailing everybody specifically with your answers. But if you are ready to do a test drive, call us, email us, let us know. The future of business is Google's technology. A lot of manufacturing companies have found that out and are saving a lot of money using it. They're increasing productivity, so many great benefits. So I highly encourage anybody in the manufacturing industry to explore this more. And then when you're ready to make that step, explore it with Dido so we can help you guys get it done as smoothly as possible. All right, again, my name is Damon Tackett, and I am your Google Apps for Manufacturing expert. Thanks for everybody for joining us today. And we're going to email everyone here shortly, and we'll see you guys next time for the next webinar. Thanks.